Excellency Vice President of the Republic of Ecuador, Honorable Maria Jose Pinto, Honorable former President, His Excellency Ivan Duque Marquez, former President of the Republic of Colombia, Honorable Orlando Habet, Minister of Sustainable Development and Climate Change of Belize, the Honorable P. Kumaran, Vice President of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Government of India, His Excellency Mr. Martin Ngoga, Permanent Representative of the Republic of Rwanda to the United Nations, Her Excellency Ms. Michelle Mochette, United Nations Assistant Secretary General and Director of the Regional Bureau of Latin America and the Caribbean, United Nations Development Program, UNDP, members of the Cabinet of the Government of Guyana, Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, heads of organizations, including His Excellency Mr. Martin von Hildebrand, Secretary General of the Amazon Cooperation Treaty Organization, ACTO, Her Excellency Dr. Carla Barnett, Secretary General of the CARICOM Community, CARICOM, Dr. Sanjayan, Chief Executive Officer of Conservation International, Senator Russ Feingold, Honorary Ambassador for Campaign for Nature and former U.S. Senator for Wisconsin, United States of America, Dr. Christoph Schenk, Executive Director of Frankfurt Zoological Society, Mr. Gabriel Kinzandria, Regional Director for South America, International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, Permanent Secretaries, heads of agencies, heads of the discipline services of Guyana, members of the foreign and local media, delegates of the Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I wish to welcome you most warmly to this inaugural summit. On behalf of the government and people of the Co-operative Republic of Guyana, I'm very pleased to welcome you to this inaugural summit of the Global Biodiversity Alliance. Guyana's commitment to sustaining global biodiversity has been established by our government's long-standing engagement on the several issues and aspects maintaining our own biodiversity and offering practical examples of workable solutions to knotty problems in achieving our goals. This inaugural summit comes at a time when increasing numbers of countries are experiencing the real effects of climate change and are getting to grips with the necessity to act firmly in the preservation of their biodiversity as a basis for their own sustainability as viable states and polities. I was saying a few moments ago to Mr. Martin von Hildebrand from ACTO that it seems that just a few short years ago, we would have convened in the same dome the 4th International Congress of Biodiversity of the Guyana Shield. And so it is important for us to note that biodiversity and all issues related to our environment are key and pivotal to our peoples of Guyana, of the Caribbean, Latin America, and the wider Caribbean region. We do sincerely appreciate everyone's efforts to be present
balance now is at risk. Balance which we depend for food, water, climate stability, and health. This is now under relentless strain. Yet, amidst the crisis, there is hope. And that hope lies in collaboration, innovation, and leadership. This is why the Global Biodiversity Alliance was launched, to bring together nations, indigenous communities, scientists, financial institutions, and the private sector around a bold, action-driven vision. This alliance is different. It is not just another conference. It is a platform for implementation. Implementation that we're hoping to take to the upcoming meeting of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change at its COP30 proceedings coming up in Brazil in a couple of months. We are fortunate to be able to have in attendance during this week's summit the attendance of the president of the COP30 Secretariat, who will be with us tomorrow. And we're hoping, and it is the intention as the outcome document of this summit, to be an input in the proceedings of the COP30 discussions. The summit's core purpose, therefore, is to chart a new path to tangible change, one that takes place central to the biodiversity agenda and central to the climate agenda. This summit will serve as the coming together of the three Rio Conventions: the Convention on Climate Change, the Convention on Biodiversity, and the Convention on Desertification, bringing together those conversations as we speak about biodiversity monitoring, biodiversity conservation, and perhaps most importantly, biodiversity financing. The session over the next 2 days will have a combination of plenary sessions and keynote speakers, where we will hear from scientists, we will hear from the private sector, we will hear from research organizations, and we will hear from governments as to what the nature of the crisis is. And a lot of that will be done over the course of today. Tomorrow is the determining of those actions and solutions to address the crisis. We're also fortunate to have, within our presence here today, leaders from the non-governmental environmental organizations, leaders like Dr. Sanjayan, the head of Conservation International, who has led so much important work, and we'll be hearing about some of that work over the course of today as well as tomorrow. The agenda for the third day will give you a taste of Guyana as we go into the fields to get a sense as to the rich biodiversity that our discussions are hoping to elevate and to advance and to take forward. But before I get to that, I would like to share with you a short video presentation that is entitled Biodiversity at the Crossroads, From Crisis to Action. This video serves as a powerful narrative on the urgent state of global biodiversity and the decisive actions needed to secure our planet's future. This video was produced by Conservation International with inputs from the government of Guyana, and it will set the stage and provide a compelling audiovisual journey that blends science, emotion, and be a rallying call for what needs to be done, painting the nature of the crisis. From the astonishing richness of life on Earth to the mounting threats facing ecosystems, it delivers a clear-eyed view of the biodiversity crisis. Grounded in data, yet infused with hope, the script invites viewers to understand the stakes and the solutions to reversing biodiversity loss, and in instances like Guyana, to protect what we have so we do not lose it at all. This video will serve both as a warning and an invitation that the time to act is now, and we all have a role in reweaving the fabric of life on Earth. I now invite for the video to be shown, and then we will go to the next item on the agenda.
Our world is home to an astonishing array of life, billions of years in the making. From the tiniest microorganisms to the largest mammals, biodiversity is the infrastructure of our planet. More than 2 million species are known to science. Many millions more still wait to be discovered. This fragile, intricate web of life is the foundation of our existence and worth hundreds of trillions to our economy each year. Ecosystems purify the air we breathe and the water we drink. Food crops depend on animals for pollination and soil health. We rely on wild species for our lives and livelihoods. Nature provides much of our medicines. Healthy, biodiverse forests and other carbon-rich ecosystems regulate our climate. These are the threads in our rich tapestry of life, each with a niche, a purpose. Yet these threads are beginning to unravel, one by one. We are facing the 6th mass extinction in Earth's history, an event made worse by a changing climate. Entire branches of our evolutionary tree gone. Humans caused this crisis, and only humans can get us out of it. Fortunately, we know what needs to be done. This is difficult work. Half measures won't cut it. Only bold, transformative actions will begin restitching the tapestry of life on Earth. If we act together globally, nationally, regionally, and individually, we can reverse course. The time to act is now.
Thank you to Conservation International for producing that video. That has indeed set the stage for our host and featured speaker today to now deliver his remarks. We'll hear from someone who will reflect on the crisis, but more importantly, to set out a path that navigates solutions moving forward, and the actions that innovate around science, policy, and political leadership. It is now my distinct honor to introduce our featured speaker and his summit host, His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali, President of Guyana, a champion of climate justice, sustainable development, and regional cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency.
Thank you very much, please, very kindly, thank you. Distinguished heads of state and government, honorable ministers and parliamentarians, representatives of international organizations and development partners, members of the private sector and civil society, leaders of indigenous and local communities, scientists, academics, youth representatives, and friends of nature from around the world, including our vibrant private sector. And I want to thank Hess Corporation for their tremendous support in bringing this conference together. I also want to recognize that in the room, in addition to all of the organizations you have heard that are here, we do have also McKinsey and Company, the United Nations represented, the Caribbean Biodiversity Fund, the Amazon Conservation Team, Yale Center for Biodiversity and Global Change, and ISRO, this is the Indian Space and Research Organization. It is both an honor and a historic privilege to welcome you to Georgetown for the inaugural Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit. Welcome to Guyana, a true treasure trove of biodiversity. Welcome to Guyana, where nature thrives and astonishes. Here in our beloved country, nature doesn't whisper, it sings, it soars, and it roars. Guyana is home to more than 1,200 species of birds, a staggering number that rivals or even surpasses much larger nations. From the resplendent cock of the rock to the majestic harpy eagle, The skies and forests of Guyana are alive with color and song. We are the proud custodians of approximately 225 species of mammals, including iconic apex predators like the golden jaguar, and rare species such as the giant river otter, a gentle guardian of our rivers and wetlands. Our nearly 8,000 species of plants, many of which are found nowhere else on Earth, flourish atop the ancient and ecologically rich Guyana Shield, making Guyana a sanctuary of botanical wonder. But perhaps what truly distinguishes Guyana is not just the abundance of life, but the integrity of its ecosystems. Over 85% of our land remains forested, undisturbed, and brimming with life. Ours is not a biodiversity only, found in books or museums. It is a living, breathing force. Here in this land of mighty rivers and unbroken canopy, biodiversity is not an abstraction. It is the rustle of the forest, the call of the red howler monkey, the glint of sunlight on butterflies' wings. It is the pulse of our land, felt deeply by those who live here and those fortunate enough to visit. We meet at a moment of unprecedented urgency, yet also immense opportunity. Today, we are not simply launching an initiative. We are igniting a global movement to protect the living fabric of our planet. And I'm proud that this movement begins here in Guyana with the support and partnership of all of you in this room. We cannot overcome these challenges individually. We must build strong, resilient, sustainable partnership so that we can overcome all the headwinds and storms that will come our way. Across the globe, biodiversity is under siege. Every year, we lose an estimated 10 million hectares of forests. 1 million species face extinction. Wetlands are vanishing 3 times faster than forests. And we are approaching irreversible tipping points in key ecosystems, from coral reefs to savannas to rainforests. These changes are not remote or abstract. They are real, immediate, and devastating. They affect the water we drink, the food we eat, the air we breathe. They affect our jobs, our health, our economies, our cultures, our peace. They affect our very survival. Some scientists warn that the world is facing its 6th mass extinction, and yet the destruction continues, not due to ignorance, but due to invisibility, because too often the true value of biodiversity is ignored in national accounts, absent from financial statements, and invisible in boardrooms and budget plans. The invisibility ends here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to serve as a convener of this summit and the foundational leader of the Global Biodiversity Alliance. And we are proud not only because of what we have done, but because of what we represent. Guyana is a high forest, low deforestation country. Over 85% of our land is covered in lush, carbon-rich rainforests. We sit at the heart of the Guyana Shield, one of the last intact tropical forest ecosystems on Earth. But we are more than stewards, we are pioneers. Guyana has long stood at the forefront of global environmental leadership, championing sustainable development and the protection of the world's natural heritage. As early as the 1990s, Guyana made an unprecedented commitment by setting aside nearly 1 million acres of pristine forests for the Ayakarama International Center, a model for sustainable forest management. This bold move was followed by the establishment of a national protected area system, safeguarding some 18,000 square kilometers of key ecosystems across the country. Guyana further cemented its leadership by forging a landmark forest partnership with Norway. This partnership is one of the first such climate finance agreement in the world, which has since become a global model. As a proud member of the Queen's Commonwealth canopy, Guyana has aligned its forests with a wider vision of shared stewardship across Commonwealth nations. Today, the country continues to lead with the implementation of the revised and expanded Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030, which builds on past successes to advance climate resilience, forest conservation, and a diversified low-carbon economy for all Guyanese. Through our low-carbon development strategy, we have demonstrated how economic growth and environmental stewardship can coexist. We are the first country in the world to be paid at national scale for forest carbon under the R3's framework. We are innovating in areas like forest carbon and biodiversity credit, sustainable forestry, community tourism, and low-carbon finance. And now, with the Global Biodiversity Alliance, we are taking our leadership to a new level. The Global Biodiversity Alliance is a call to arms, a rallying cry to governments, institutions, investors, communities, and citizens. It is built on three powerful convictions. One, that biodiversity is the infrastructure of life. Two, that measuring biodiversity is the foundation of meaningful action. And three, that investing in biodiversity is not a luxury, it is a necessity. We need a global biodiversity alliance because nature does not follow borders, and neither should our efforts to protect it. Nature is global, and so must our action be. By bringing countries, communities, scientists, and leaders together, we can share knowledge, pool resources, and tackle big problems like habitat loss and climate change faster and smarter. Together, we can protect our planet's incredible variety of life for today and tomorrow. The Alliance has 5 pillars. First, to advance the global goal of conserving at least 30% of land and oceans by 2030. Second, to embed biodiversity in national and corporate planning through measurable indicators. Third, to unlock innovative finance, including biodiversity credits, green bonds, and debt for nature swaps. Fourth, to empower indigenous peoples and local communities, the guardians of our nature. And fifth, to institutionalize monitoring and transparency through the Global Biodiversity Product and the Gross Biodiversity Power Index. Let us be clear, this is not just an environmental imperative, this is an economic revolution. We now have evidence, rigorous, credible evidence, of what biodiversity is worth. And I thank our partners at McKinsey & Company and Conservation International for leading this groundbreaking valuation work, and I think we should applaud them. McKinsey & Company and Conservation International did extraordinary work to get us here. Their analysis tells us that Guyana's ecosystem provides over $15.2 billion per year in ecosystem services. An overwhelming 96% of the value comes from non-market services, those invisible benefits we all rely on but never pay for. Genetic resources alone, from plant compounds and medical potential to unique species traits, are worth $8.4 billion annually. Existence and bequest values, what our peoples are willing to pay to preserve nature, amount to $3.6 billion annually. Think about that. The forests of Guyana, not being cleared, not being sold, not being converted, are providing more economic value by standing than they would if destroyed. This is the very essence of nature positive economy. And this value is not unique to Guyana. It is echoed in every forest, reef, wetland, savanna, and mountain on earth. I pause to recognize also Concordia, who are with us at this conference. Yet, despite the intrinsic value, biodiversity remains grossly underfunded. Today, we invest just $200 billion per year in nature. But to meet the global biodiversity framework targets, we need at least $700 billion annually. That means we must more than triple global finance for nature. And we must ensure that this finance flows to where it is most needed, especially in the global south. The Global Biodiversity Alliance will prioritize this. We are committed to scaling blended finance, to de-risk investment in nature-based enterprises, piloting biodiversity credits that reward stewardship, expanding debt for nature swaps modeled on our own experience, supporting community-driven finance models that place indigenous leadership at the center. We invite development banks, asset managers, impact investors, and sovereign wealth funds to join us, because financing nature is not charity, it is insurance, it is resilience, it is return on investment. To this end, yesterday we had fruitful discussions with the chair of the business end of COP, the private sector arm of COP30. And we will be in that round table advancing these very ideas. It is therefore with great pride that I announce today a landmark memorandum of understanding between the government of the Co-operative Republic of Guyana and the Yale Center for Biodiversity and Global Change. The MOU marks the beginning of a strategic, long-term collaboration focused on biodiversity science, data, and technology. Under this agreement, Yale, through Map of Life, their global biodiversity intelligence platform, will work with Guyana to support our leadership in the Global Biodiversity Alliance, help us design a world-class international center of excellence for biodiversity research right here in Guyana, build a national biodiversity information system with maps, dashboards, and data layers, and guide the application of cutting-edge biodiversity science to decision-making, including for our 30 by 30 commitment. Yale brings not only its world-class expertise, but also a network of partners, including the E.O. Wilson Biodiversity Foundation, Map of Life, and the broader CGEO community. This is a monumental step forward, not just for Guyana, but for South-South and North-South collaboration in biodiversity science. We are building the global biodiversity knowledge infrastructure from the ground up and from Guyana out. No biodiversity strategy can succeed without the full involvement of those who live closest to nature, our indigenous people and local communities. In Guyana, we know this well. In the Rupununi, the discovery of the critically endangered red siskin led to the formation of the South Rupununi Conservation Society, a grassroots organization led by indigenous youth. They have not only helped restore the species, but have built pride, income, and identity through ecotourism, education, and conservation. This is not just a story of birds, it is a story of hope. Nature is not only about carbon or commerce, it's about connection. It's about what it means to be human. You must protect not just biodiversity, but biocultural diversity. For too long, we have spoken in generalities about biodiversity. Not anymore. With the Global Biodiversity product, we'll track tangible ecosystem outputs, from carbon sequestration to pollination to water filtration. With a gross biodiversity power index, we'll rank national progress with integrity and comparability. This is our answer to GDP. This is how we move from intention to evidence, from commitment to consequence. We call on all Alliance members to adopt these tools so that we can speak a common language and hold each other accountable. My friends, the stakes could not be higher. The moment could not be more urgent, but the opportunity has never been greater. We are not here to admire the problem. We are here to build solutions. We are not here to repeat promises. We are here to create accountability. We are not here to lament what has been lost. We are here to protect what remains. Let this be remembered as a summit that changed the trajectory of our planet. Let us rise together as a Global Biodiversity Alliance. Let us show the world that we can build an economy that honors nature, a development model that values life, and a future that is abundant not in extraction but in restoration. Let history record that when the world stood at the brink of ecological collapse, it was the voice of small states, forest peoples, and moral conviction that sparked a global awakening. Let that voice rise from this room here in Guyana today. Let us rise from this alliance. Let us rise from you. Thank you, and may we go forward in unity, courage, and action. I end at the perfect time to welcome a champion of climate change, climate financing, and developing country, Prime Minister Motley. And I think we should give her a huge round of applause for her continuous, sustainable work. Come, Prime Minister. Where's Prime? Yeah. And we also have, I think, Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez. So, what an appropriate time to have another champion in the room. We'll be sitting, of course, with the Vice President of Ecuador. Another champion, Prime Minister, the Vice President of Ecuador, has just launched a new legislation to protect national parks. So we have policymakers, members of academia, scientists, who are all willing to put in the work to get it done. And I welcome Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez and his very beautiful wife, who add immense value to his life. And I noticed they have a very striking combination of colors today. Huh? I would say the Prime Minister is playing more a diplomatic couple today. But that's welcome, everyone. And as I said, today is another important day in the life of our planet and in our work on environment. Thank you very much, and God bless all of you.
Your Excellency, I thank you for that very inspiring presentation outlining the work that Guyana continues to do. And I believe it would be apt to make reference to one of your quotes, that there will be no international conversation on energy, food, and climate security without Guyana being mentioned. And I believe at this juncture, we can also include biodiversity conservation. But I do enjoin His Excellency the President in formally welcoming the Honorable Dr. Ralph Edward Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Mrs. Eloise Gonsalves. Welcome. And of course, Honorable Mia Amor Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados. It's a great delight to have you join us. We do appreciate the effort you have made. We will now transition to the cultural presentation. I believe they're on cue, but while we await their arrival, I'm going to give you just what they shared, a description, an overview of what they're about to present. So this presentation has been organized by the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. And it states that Guyana has a unique culture shaped by the diversity of our people who came from different parts of the world, glued together by our bonds of unity. Our dance, our song, our stories define who we are. We give you a taste of Guyana.
A blue earth hovering over the moon's gray horizon, with deep oceans and silver skies, home to extensive forests, diverse ecosystems, and species diversity, prominently placed to the core for being the only self-sufficient country, fueled by its rich biodiversity. In 2025, this is our country's first glance at itself, our first chance to see a shared reality, a declared stance, and a commonality. A glimpse into our country's mirror, and as threats grew nearer, our own urgency became clearer when we realized that we hold nothing dearer than this floating body we all call home. We've known that we're caught in the throes of climate change, for it is the single greatest challenge of our time, threatening the very future of our biodiversity. It's saddening, but I cannot spare you from knowing an inconvenient fact, because it's getting the facts straight that gets us to act and not to wait. And so I tell you this not to scare you, but to prepare you, to dare you to dream a different reality where, despite disparities, we all care to protect this world, to make it our mission to conserve, to protect, and preserve this one and only home that is ours, to use our unique power to give future generations a planet that they deserve. We are demonstrating, creating, advocating. And while this is a training in sustaining the future of our biodiversity, there is no rehearsal. The time is now. The time is now. So visualize that all of us leaders in this room, outside of these walls and in those halls, all of us change makers are in a spacecraft, and we see the face of our planet anew. We relish the view. We witness our earth and its round, green, and brilliant view, which inspires us to ask wholly and deeply, what can we do? The future of our planet lies right in sight. The future of our planet lies in all of us.
I got to do production.
So here we are under the stars, dreaming of this El Dorado gold. And truth be told, there's a fire in my soul, one that burns so bright it cannot be controlled. To this place that I call home, Eldorado, where the sun kisses your soul. Eldorado, a place of natural beauty, from sea to shining, see the mist been told. This is Eldorado, the legend spoke of a hidden place where fortune lies and explorers chase. But what we found, though this might be true, the greatest treasure in Eldorado is me and you. To the space that I call you, Eldorado, where the sun kisses your soul. Eldorado, a place of natural beauty, from sea to shining, see the mist been told. This is Eldorado's home. The pride and the principles, so dear we each do hold, has molded great character. That's where this meaning goes. So let's strive to guard this hidden treasure the world is yet to see. Welcome to this place that I call home, Eldorado, where the sun kisses your soul. Eldorado, a place of natural beauty, from seas to shining sea, the mist been told. This is Eldorado's gold. The myth's been told. This is Eldorado's gold. The myth's been told. This is Eldorado's gold.
We are one Guyana, a place of peace, a place of love. We are one Guyana, it's paradise, it's our world.
Thank you to the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, all the dancers, the person who did the spoken word, and the songsters for that very exhilarating cultural presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now transition to a break. We have come to the official end of the opening ceremony of this inaugural summit of the Global Biodiversity Alliance. I wish to recognize, before I leave this podium, the President, the Senior Vice President of WWF, Country Offices, and Director of Latin America and the Caribbean, Mr. Roberto Troya of WWF. And also our Chief of Chiefs, the Chairman of the National Tushaus Council, Mr. Derek John, and the other chiefs in our room. In Guyana, we call the chiefs the Tushao. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to remain in your positions as I ask the heads of state and other VVIPs to leave, not to leave, so that you can transition to a break for about 20 minutes. And when you get downstairs, through the door, flanking both sides of the entranceway, there are coffee stations. If you were to go in the other direction, to my left, flanking, well, there is a big tent, and under there is an exhibition ongoing, and you can also get snacks. I thank you, and I hope that you will remain for the continuation of today's program. Please stand back. Oh, and we will recommence on time. Thank you, Mr. President.